With respect to poaching, the government has a multi-pronged approach. As some of you would already be aware, the Defense Force has stepped up its patrol. It's invested over $200 million in vessels. That's not just to interdict vessels carrying immigrants or carrying drugs. It's also to address the poaching issue. And they have done a commendable job. Have they been able to capture everyone? Obviously, no. Will they be able to capture all? Absolutely not. Will they be able to make an impact? Well, they've done so already. So I've heard the criticisms. Some of it is unreasonable. So in my public comments, I try to appeal to the reasonable. Because with unreasonable folks, you will never be able to solve all of their problems. And I only draw reference to our neighbor to the north that happened to have a population, I believe, over 300 million, whose economy deal in the trillions, and they're having challenges guarding one border between a neighboring country. We are 100, I believe, 100 square miles of 100,000 square miles of water. It is a challenge. That doesn't mean that we should not have high expectations for our law enforcement. We should, and we should hold policymakers and law enforcement feet to the fire to get the job done. But it is a challenge. So aside from the money invested in vessels, the Defense Force is also setting up 2 bases in Ragged Island and again in Inagua to increase its presence in the southern Bahamas. They have just introduced a radar system. The radar system we expect is going to pay dividends in being able to detect vessels in our water. We are also exploring becoming a part of a global satellite system that allows us, and some of you already have capabilities, that you are able to tell whether or not there's a commercial vessel, a pleasure vessel in our waters. You're able to identify what type vessels are traversing in our water so that we're able to respond. So the Defense Force, I believe, is making progress. The Cabinet has just approved a project that will allow them to invest in drones, so that they will also use drone technology, both fixed on land masses as well as drones that will be able, short-range drones that can go out from vessels, and long-range drones. It is a sizable investment. However, the Cabinet has approved a proposal to go ahead. Aside from what we're doing in terms of law enforcement, you would be aware that the fisheries regulations are going to be amended with a view of increasing the penalties for persons coming in our waters. The committee has been meeting since May of this year, every Friday. The draft amended fisheries regulations is now at the Attorney General. It's been there for going on 4 weeks now. We expect to get that back from them in short order. It is my intention and hope that we are able to carry a Cabinet paper in the month of November to Cabinet having approval. The penalties are severe. Presently, the maximum penalty assessed for fishery offenses, I believe, is somewhere in the vicinity of $50,000. On the low end of the new penalties, you're looking at $100,000 all the way up to $1 million for offenses. Some have argued and will argue that these are draconian, that they are unreasonable given what the crime is that we exploit. Well, I would certainly let colleagues make that determination and let there be pushback from the community or test some of these things in court. But we believe a very strong message has to be sent to persons overseas that if they were to come in Bahamian waters, whether that's Dominicans or others to the south, southwest, or that's Americans or others who live in the US to the north, because we are also having a significant problem with sports fishermen in the north, and we see them in the same light, even though you don't hear in the commentary persons criticizing them. We have concerns about them in much the same way we have concerns about Dominicans in particular in the southern Bahamas. So the penalties will be severe. But I pause only to note that in the absence of amended fisheries regulations, the court has just dealt two severe blows to poachers in recent weeks. In the first instance, somewhere in the vicinity of $3 million, $2.5 million or so, of fines were assessed to poachers in our waters. A number of those persons having difficulty paying those fines, and I believe remain incarcerated. The last set of fines, I believe, are in the vicinity of some $8 million when you look at the 124 or so persons who were caught on 3 separate vessels. Those persons are obviously still in prison. Obviously, the fishing community and the public has to ask the question, is it in our interest long term to simply rely heavily on incarceration, which undoubtedly has happened in these 2 cases and likely to happen in the future? I can tell you we do have a capacity issue to maintain all of the persons, particularly if the success rate continues the way it has been going in recent weeks over the course of the last 2 months. However, it is what it is. They've been captured, taken before the courts, and they have been fined and imprisoned. There are charges pending, possibly additional charges for the person or persons who discharged the firearm. And so we're taking this very seriously.